we are back with another problem from Leetcode today. It is called string compression. And they say given an array of characters, compress it in place. So they want to use the same array for the compression. They don't want us to be able to use a different array. The length after compression must be always smaller than or equal to the original array. Of course, that should be the case. It's called compression. Every element of the array should be character, not int, of length 1. After you're done modifying the input array in place, return the new length of the array. Could you solve it using only one extra space? And they give us some examples like this one. If we have an array like this, at the end we should have an array like this, which basically counts how many times each different element is in the array. Like A is 2 times, B is 2 times, and C is 3 times. But if we have something like this, where an element is only once, they don't want us to put 1 after it because it's just 1, so we don't need to count it. And if you have something like this, again, A is just 1 time, so we don't push a number, and B is 12 times, but they don't want us to push 12 after it. They want us to push a 1 and a 2, and if it would be like 123 times, they would want us to push 1, 2, and 3. So what I will do, I will copy the start function from here, and one of the examples. And I think the best way to do this is, well, one of the best ways is to basically have a current element in a variable and check it against the first element of the array, and if it's equal to that current element, we're gonna keep taking it out from the beginning, and once we encounter a new different element, we're gonna push this value of the current at the end, and we're also gonna push how many times we have found that value. But because we keep taking out stuff from the beginning and putting at the end, this is basically going in a circle. So we need a way to know when we got at the end of the original array. So I'll start with pushing an element called end at the end. Chars push end. Then I will have a counter which basically will count how many times each element appears in the array. So I will say let times, it will start with 0. And then a current which will keep changing when we find a new different value. It will start with the first value in the array, so we will say let current equal chars 0. Then what we want to say is while current is different than end. So while the current element is not end, we want to do some manipulation. We don't want to do that manipulation once we have reached the end. We only want to do it until we reach the end. So what we're gonna say is if the element at the beginning of the array is equal with the current value, then we want to increase the counters. So we have to say times plus plus. We will say we have encountered it 1 more times because it's equal to the current value that we are checking against. And then we want to say chars shift. We're basically gonna take that element that is equal out. Now if is not equal, so we have encountered a new value. What we want to do is push that current value once at the end, and also push at the end how many times we have encountered it, so the value of the counter. So we're gonna say else chars push current, and we're only gonna push how many times we have encountered it if we have encountered it more than one. So we're gonna say times bigger than one, and so this is basically like an if. You can use the and like an if. You say if this is true, then do this. So if times the counter is bigger than 1, then we want to push that counter in there. But first of all, we want to transform the number because that is a number value. We want to transform it in a string, and the way we do that is one of the ways it would be to add it to an empty string, and that's going to transform it in a string. So this is a string now, but if the value is 12, we don't want to push 12 inside, we want to push 1 and 2. So basically we can use the spread operator on a string, and it's going to transform it in an array with all the elements only once. So it's gonna, like for example, if we had a string like let's string equal Marian, and we're gonna say let array equal array, and we're gonna spread. We're gonna use the spread operator, and we're gonna spread string in there. This will gonna be equal. It's gonna be an array with all the letters like this, and A, R, and so on. So it's basically gonna spread it in a string. So that's what we're doing here. First, we're transforming it in a string by adding it to an empty string, and then we want to spread that string in an array. So we're basically pushing this array at the end. We also want to say times equals 0 because we have encountered a new different value, so we have to reset the value of the counter to 0, and we will count how many times that value is encountered now. And we're also gonna say current equals with that new value that we encounter. Now we're only doing this while current is different than n. Once current is different than n, so chars of 0 is n, then we want to take that out because we don't need it. So we're gonna say chars shift, and then at the end we're gonna return the new length of the array. Okay, so let's copy this in there and check it out. Seems to be working. And let's try more. Okay, seems to be working. Now never trust this because it depends on the speed of their website more, because sometimes it says 60%, sometimes it says 30%. So this is not something you can be looking at. Like for example, look, if I submit again, look, now it says faster than 89%, and memory less than 34. So this is not something that it can be trusted. But I'm pretty sure that this is quite a good solution to this problem. Now, if you had any problems understanding anything that I was explaining here, please leave a comment and I will try to explain it better for you. or you can even reach out to me and I'll come back to you. If you enjoyed this video, please give a like, subscribe, leave a comment. It will help me grow this channel. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.